A flight attendant named Grace was making her way down the economy cabin of a long overnight flight, checking that seatbelts were fastened. Halfway down the aisle, she noticed an elderly woman sitting alone by the window, a handkerchief pressed carefully against her mouth, shoulders slightly shaking. Grace crouched down quietly in the aisle beside her seat so that she was at eye level with her. "Are you feeling all right?" she asked. The woman lowered the handkerchief. Her eyes were red. She said quietly, "I'm traveling to see my son. He has been seriously ill. I received a call from his doctor yesterday afternoon. They said I should come as soon as I possibly could, that it may be a matter of days." Grace put her hand gently over the woman's hand on the armrest, and held it there for a moment without saying anything at all. Then she stood up, squeezed her hand once, and said, "I'll be right back." She made her way to the front of the aircraft and spoke quietly with the senior cabin crew member for about 3 minutes. Then she came back down the aisle, leaned in close, and said, "We have a seat available in the business cabin. Please come with me." The elderly woman shook her head. "I cannot pay the difference. I already spent everything I had on this ticket." Grace picked up the woman's small carry-on bag and said, "There is no difference this evening. Please come." She carried the bag herself and walked the woman slowly to the front of the aircraft and settled her into a wide reclining seat. The passenger in the adjacent seat was a quietly dressed man in his late 50s who had been watching this exchange. He waited until Grace had moved away. Then he leaned over and said gently, "I hope your son is resting comfortably." She talked about the symptoms, the progression, and the specialist who had run out of ideas. The man listened with complete attention. His questions were precise and clinical. When the lights dimmed, he said, "I believe I know what your son's condition may be. There is a treatment protocol that has shown strong results. It is relatively recent and not yet widely known." He reached into his jacket and took out a card. "I would like you to have his medical team contact me directly tomorrow." He was the head of a specialist neurological unit at one of the most respected hospitals in the country. He said, "I almost didn't take this flight tonight. I changed my booking 3 hours before departure." She held the card against her chest for the rest of the flight and did not sleep once. 8 weeks later, she sat beside her son in a hospital garden on a warm afternoon as he ate lunch from a tray. She watched him eat and said, "A flight attendant gave me a different seat. That is all that happened." Her son looked at her, and that changed everything. She smiled. "God used that seat to put the right person beside me." She wrote a letter to the airline. On one particular night, a young woman crouching beside an old lady's seat was the first movement in a chain. Never underestimate a single small act of genuine human kindness. It may be carrying far more than you will ever know. Comment Amen if God has ever surprised you completely.